In this video, we will be going over using the customer portal. To begin, we're going to go over how to activate our customers' customer portals. If we go over to the Customers tab, you will notice that when you first go to add a customer, there is a small checkbox on the left hand right below the email where you can actually check off to make them a customer portal user. You'll notice that the red asterisk comes up right next to the email address. That's because whatever email you put in here will be the email login that they will use to get into the portal. Okay. For today's example, we're actually going to make a current customer a customer portal user. So returning to our customers list, let's pretend that Jeff has put in a request. He would actually like to start using our customer portal. So I've searched for Jeff here, and there he is. And we're going to click to view his customer record. If we scroll all the way to the bottom, we'll be able to see all the customer contacts within this customer record, in which case it's just Jeff himself. I'm going to click the pencil icon next to Jeff's name. And in here you will see the same option to check him off as a customer portal user. Keep in mind, if you have multiple contacts within a customer record, you could make a customer portal login for each of those contacts. So in here I am going to put in Jeff's email address. And we will click Save. Okay. Once you have saved, Jeff will be getting an email in his email inbox, and he's going to be really ecstatic about being able to use the customer portal now. And if you have your customer portal settings all set, then we will be able to receive requests for service from him.
Now we'll log in as a customer into your customer portal. The first thing the customer needs to do to access your Service CEO database is to set up their password for the first time. Here we send an email to that customer that will allow them to go into Service CEO for the first time and access their information. Note that it says your Service CEO records. It's because the name of our database in the system is Service CEO. If this was Stephanie's Cleaning, this would say access your Stephanie's Cleaning records. In here, I've got a temporary password. I can also simply click this link here. It'll bring me into Service CEO, into Stephanie's customer portal website. Now we've already configured this password. However, your customer would have to set up their password first time they log in. Now we're logged into the customer portal as a customer. You can see here that this lives at stephanie.serviceceo.com. When a customer logs into the customer portal, you can change what different options they have in the settings. This is covered in the customer portal settings video. In here there are 5 main tabs. First, let's overview them, and then we'll request a service. First, on the My Account tab, I can see my current balance. It's red, so it's owed to the company from me. I can see my list of contacts as well as my list of locations. I can edit my contact information here. For example, if I want to put in my cell phone number, I can put this in. I can also update my email address, my date of birth, or any of the information you see here. We'll save this. Now we'll come back to my account. Here I can also add in another contact. So if I'm a company and I have a new hire, I can add that contact in. If I get married and I want to add my wife, I can add her on here as well. You do have the option to allow your customers to grant each other portal access. It's been turned on in this, so I could set up a new contact and grant her access to the customer portal. And when I hit save, she will also get an email to log into this customer portal into this account as a separate contact. The system will track who is logged in and who is entering in any request for service. There's your My Account tab. The next tab is Request for Service. This is where you actually put in a request for a new service. You can also see the current status of any old requests you've put in. Here you can see we've requested cleaning on May 31st, and it was now it's scheduled. Status is job scheduled. For the location, we can click in here to view the job. Next is the Estimates tab. Here we'll see any estimates that have ever been given to us from this company, as well as any on-site sales calls that have been scheduled. In Jobs, you can see all of your history ever with this company. So, for example, a property management company could look up hundreds or thousands of old work orders. This can be searched, you can be looked by date, and of course by the summary as well. Within a job, you can click the job number here to actually see information on the job, summary, the start date and time, the duration, its current status. You can see any notes you've sent to Service CEO, and you also have the option to send notes and give feedback. So if, for example, this were an open job that was coming up, I could always come in here and send a note to say, please call 5 minutes ahead. Call the basement. This will immediately go to Service CEO. Service CEO's contact person that was set in the Settings tab will receive an email that a note has been sent from your client into the system. You can also give feedback that is directly entered into the system. The feedback form can be customized. This is covered in the feedback training video. However, here we would simply say this is a compliment. This scores from -10 to +10. You can see we've got an example of a custom field here. Just keep in mind you can build as many custom fields as you'd like on this. Feedback, once entered, is attached to both the customer of the job and the employee who did it. From here I can also see the invoice. I could print the invoice for my records or for tax purposes, or I could download it as a PDF here. I can also come over to the Payments tab and see the history of any payments that I've entered. Finally, in the Accounting tab, we can see all of our invoices, and if we owe any balances, we can click Pay Now to actually pay through PayPal. We'll do that just a little bit later as we demonstrate the full life cycle of a service request. For now, let's put in a request for service to clean our carpets this coming Friday. I'll come to Request for Service, and I've entered New Request. I have to give it a summary. Again, the red asterisks are required fields. I can choose who the service contact will be. So if I'm out of town and Stephanie is the person they should be talking to, I can choose her. If I have multiple locations, I can choose which location. And I can choose my desired service date. Here I'll just type in a brief description. And simply hit send. This sends an email to the contact person set in the Customer Portal Settings tab in Service CEO, and has now entered a request for service, which is visible from the main Service CEO database. Now we'll switch over and process that request.
This is Stephanie again, and I just got back from my lunch break and I'm checking my email. I see that I've gotten a few emails from my Service CEO portal account. I'm going to open up the first one here, and it looks like one of our customers, Jeff, he has left a new note for one of the jobs that we had scheduled for him. So I'm going to actually select this link and see what note he left for that job. And I'm going to log into my account. And in here I can see that Jeff has left a customer note just asking me to call him 5 minutes ahead of time, since he'll probably be in the basement, so he wants to make sure he can open the door for me. Alright, I'll make a note of that. Now let's see what other things he had done in the portal. In the next email notification here, it looks like Jeff had also left some feedback in our portal. So I'll click on the link to view that as well. And I can see he has logged some feedback for this job, You're the Man. And he is giving us a compliment saying that we did great work, and ooh, nice, he gave us a 10. And this was for our employee Oscar. In the last email notification, if I go back to my inbox, I can see that Jeff has put in a request for service here. So again, I'll just follow the link to view that request for service. And I can see here that he's putting in a request to clean the carpets. And you can also follow all your requests for service under your main request for service tab here. This will show you all the requests for services that you've received for all of your customers. And in here, I'll be able to track, okay, this is the one for Jeff, and this is the one that was pending, what we were just looking at 2 seconds ago. And I'm just going to click here to view this one again. From here, I can see that his desired service date is June 3rd, so that's in a couple days from now. And he would like this done at the 60 Canal Street location, and it looks like there's another Stephanie who's going to be our service contact. And he would preferably like us to arrive around 10 o'clock. So I have a few options from here. I can either decline his service if for some reason we might be closed for a while, or perhaps there's a huge snowstorm coming up, or maybe I just think his request is a little ridiculous and maybe it's something that we don't offer. Okay, I can also turn this request into an estimate and provide Jeff with a quote. Or I can just go ahead and turn this request into a job. Since this is a customer that we've worked with before and we have cleaned the carpets in the past, I'm just going to go ahead and schedule this job for Jeff. Service CEO will ask you just to verify that we are turning this request into a job, and I will click on Create Job. Okay. From here, you'll see that it turns that request into a job. It has helped us build out the job information. So this is for the customer, Jeff. The summary carries over. He's asking us to clean our carpets. Okay. I can jump over to the work order here, and I'll just click Edit at the top. Okay. You'll see that it has also carried over the service contact and service location. So the other Stephanie is going to be the contact, and we are servicing 60 Canal Street. And he had also requested the ideal date to be June 3rd. And I know he had requested around 10 o'clock in the morning, and I believe we are available during that time slot, and it should take a couple hours or so. Okay. I can also always use the scheduling assistant to see and verify to make sure we have this time slot open. Right. From here, I'm going to add some charges. So I will come here to add service, and in here we do have a carpet cleaning where we charge hourly. And I think it'll take about 2 hours or so. So his total charge will be $60, and since this is a repeat customer, why don't I give him a discount? And plus he gave us a really good rating last time. So I'll take 10% off. Okay, from here I can assign this job to an employee. And since Jeff seemed to really like Oscar last time, I'm going to assign this to Oscar again. And we will schedule this job and hit save. From here, I can always email a customer reminder to Jeff, letting him know that we have scheduled this job and that we will be coming out. So it is automatically pulling up Stephanie's contact information. Why don't I CC Jeff just in case? I'll click here to add a contact, and we'll select Jeff. And I will send this email to let him know we are scheduled for June 3rd, and we will be coming out at 10 o'clock. Once Oscar has completed this job, I can go into the work order and edit this to change the status to closed. And we can go ahead to the invoice. And I'm just going to verify the invoice here. Jeff will be the one to pay the bill. And why don't I give him 30 days to pay us? Okay, and I'll just review the charges here. We're charging him for 2 hours for a total of $60, and we've provided a $6 discount. So I'll just write in the invoice notes that we provided him that discount. From here, I can save this invoice and we'll email that over to Jeff. Now Jeff can log back into his customer portal to see the status of the job and to also pay his invoice.
Now we'll log in to pay that invoice. Simply log in here, note the amount is now $84. Come over to the accounting tab to pay the bills. You can choose which invoice to pay off here. We were just doing a Clean My Carpets job. So we click Pay Now. This is going to bring us over to PayPal. You can choose to pay more than $54, to leave a tip perhaps. You simply choose the right amount and hit Pay Now. Unfortunately, for the purposes of this video, we have to stop here so as not to release anyone's personal information. However, the way to do it from here is either logging in to your existing PayPal account and simply sending money that's either in your PayPal account or through the card or account that you have linked over to PayPal. Or, if you don't have an account in PayPal yet, you can simply click here to create a brand new PayPal account, which will allow you to transfer money directly to the company. This concludes the training video on the customer portal's usage in Service CEO. Please contact your customer success manager or technical support with any questions or for help with this. Thank you.